Welcome to the An English Coffee Office. Today is Friday, September 26, and like every morning, David and Alex are at the coffee machine.
Hey Alex, good morning. How's your week going so far?
Morning, David. It's been a whirlwind, but I'm hanging in there. You seem like you need that caffeine hit.
You bet. Make Mine Black and Strong got a big client call later. Did you hear about the Federal Reserve's move this week?
Yeah, the interest rate cut. First one of the year, right?
Spot on. They lowered it by a quarter point to 4.25 to 4.5%. Powell said it's to balance inflation and the softening job market.
It's tricky. Inflation's still sticky at around 2.9%, but hiring's cooled off.
Exactly. Makes me think about our sales pipeline. Cheaper borrowing could mean more businesses investing in tech like ours.
Possibly. But if the economy slows more, they might hold off on big spends.
Fair point. Still, it's a relief after all that uncertainty. Remember last year when rates were sky high?
How could I forget? Projects got delayed left and right because of funding crunches.
Yeah, no kidding. This cut might grease the wheels a bit. 2 more cuts projected by year end, they say.
That could help stabilize things. But one governor wanted a bigger / half a point even.
Bold move. Trump appointee, right? Politics creeping in again.
It does feel that way. Anyway, shifting gears, what about that NVIDIA news from China?
Oh man. The anti-monopoly probe? China's regulators are sniffing around NVIDIA for alleged violations.
Preliminary findings point to unfair practices in their chip market dominance.
It's huge. NVIDIA's GPUs power so much of what we do in AI projects.
True. If they slap on fines or restrictions, it could disrupt global supply chains big time.
Disrupt is right. Prices might jump, and we'd have to explain that to clients.
We need contingency plans? Maybe source from other vendors like AMD more aggressively?
Smart. But NVIDIA's the king for a reason, and performance is unmatched.
For now, this probe underscores the US-China tech tensions. It's not just trade, it's control over innovation.
Innovation? More like a headache for sales folks like me chasing leads in Asia.
I get it. As project managers, we have to build buffers into timelines now.
Buffers love the jargon. Hey, on a heavier note, did you see that global modern slavery report?
The walk-free one? Yeah. Estimating 50 million people in modern slavery worldwide?
Shocking. Forced labor, trafficking, it's everywhere, from factories to domestic work.
The report highlights how it's grown despite efforts. Linked to conflicts and economic inequality.
Makes you pause. Our company sources parts globally. Are we checking suppliers properly?
We do some audits, but this pushes for deeper due diligence. Regulations like the UK Modern Slavery Act are models.
Good call. No one wants their brand tied to that mess. It's bad for business and just wrong.
Ethically, yes. It affects supply chains we rely on for hardware.
Hardware delays from ethical issues? That's a new twist.
It is. The report calls for global action, more funding, better laws.
About time. Imagine 50 million stories behind that number.
It's overwhelming. But starting with our own practices could make a difference.
You're right. Maybe pitch an initiative to the boss, transparency in sourcing?
I like that. We could tie it to our CSR goals.
CSR, corporate social responsibility. Sounds fancy, but it's necessary.
It is? Back to the Fed cut, do you think it'll boost stock markets?
Already has. S&P hit records post-announcement.
Small caps surged too, like the Russell 2000 up over 2%.
Nice for our 401 Gs. But will it trickle down to real wages?
Questionable. Labor markets weakening, unemployment might tick up.
Don't say that. We need steady teams for these projects.
Agreed. Powell mentioned it's a challenging situation.
Challenging is putting it mildly. Now, NVIDIA, any word on potential fines?
Billions, possibly. They're investigating market practices since their IPOs.
Ouch! Jensen Huang must be sweating.
Probably. It could force them to adjust strategies in China.
China's a massive market. Losing ground there hurts.
And ripples to us AI adoption might slow if chips are pricier.
Slow adoption means slower sales cycles. Frustrating.
We adapt. That's project management.
Always the pro. The slavery report, any specific countries highlighted?
Asia and Africa top the list. But it's global, includes debt bondage and child labor.
Child labor? That's gut-wrenching.
It is. The report notes 1 in 150 people affected.
Stats like that stick. We should share it in the team chat.
Good idea. Raise awareness without scaring folks.
Awareness leads to action. Okay, enough world woes.
Yeah, let's talk shop. How's that Q4 forecast looking?
Optimistic, thanks to potential rate relief.
Mine's tight dependencies on tech deliveries?
Speaking of, NVIDIA probe might delay those.
Noted. I'll flag it in my update.
You're on it. Coffee's hitting the spot.
Glad a refill?
In a bit. First, tell me about your weekend plans.
Quiet one reading. Maybe a hike?
Sounds perfect. Mine's family barbecue.
Enjoy. Don't burn the burgers.
No promises. Hey, seriously, that Fed cut impacts mortgages too?
Likely lower rates soon, helping home buyers.
Good for the market. More disposable income, more spending.
Cycle continues, but watch inflation rebound.
Always watching. NVIDIA's stock dipped on the news.
Temporary, I bet. Fundamentals strong.
Hope so. We need stable partners.
Agreed. The slavery issue companies like ours can lead.
Lead by example. Audit time?
Let's schedule a discussion.
Deal. This chat's better than my morning briefing.
Anytime. Now back to the grind.
Grind away. See you later.
Later, David.
Time to get to work. Don't forget to subscribe and practice your English every day. You'll see how it just keeps getting better and better. See you tomorrow. Hope you have a fantastic day.